The pros I listed already of celibacy. Now I'm going to tell you the cons of being celibate. And to me, it's not a lot of them because I originally chose to be celibate because it feels more comfortable to me. You know, I'm not the type of person who feels comfortable with having a lot of sex. Like, it's not, it could be because of the trauma I experienced as a kid. Like, so I don't expect for people to be that same way as well because not everybody been sexually abused or molested as a kid. Like, people, you know, y'all lived regular childhood. So, of course, y'all gonna want that natural connection. But for me, it's just like, I'm not pressed. You feel me? Like I could just do without it. And I know some other people who haven't been violated that feel that way. I'm just not pressed. You know what I mean? Like it's not that deep. I've had enough sex to last me a lifetime. I'll be okay. I remember what it was like. So it's not sex is going without sex is not even the hard part. It's the human touch, okay? The love that you don't feel. Now, if you don't have any friends or any family or any children, you know, like if you don't have a parents or like siblings or like a best friend who you could just give a quick hug to, you are really needing to like fix that. Like you need to work on that expeditiously. Like that is not a game because people aren't supposed to be on this planet without human touch. Sex, maybe, you know, we can go without that. Not everybody, you know, trying to procreate or trying to be a part of hookup culture, but just to get a hug from someone. And that's just natural. Like I can tell from me just being around my kids and my kids just wanting hugs for it to be just this natural thing that, you know, a human being wants. So if you are in that situation, I'm gonna need for you to start finding ways to build relationships with people or start initiating hugs with other people because I do feel like sometimes when people reach out to you, like if you're the type of person where you don't get a lot of hugs and people are not hugging you, when they reach out to you to some degree, they feel like they're trying to keep distance from you because you put off the type of energy that maybe you want that person to keep distance. Or if they do find out that you're celibate, they're trying to respect your space. So you have to be the type of person to initiate something more than a little light hug like this. Like, you know, with your butt out, you know, like that's how I hug. I'd be like, don't even touch me. Like, I don't want my breasts to touch your chest. I just want to be like right here with it. You feel me? Because I feel like my body is over here. My body is like a temple I'm trying to keep to myself. And I only want to give it to someone who I can like, you know, share some type of love and respect for. So, anyway, as we talk about the cons is sexual frustration for a lot of people. Celibacy can sometimes lead to feelings of sexual frustration and a desire for physical intimacy, which can be difficult to manage for some people, especially if you are like a sex addict. There's some people out here who can't go without it. They have to have it. Now, my thing is, if you can differentiate sex from touch, then you might realize that you just want to be held. It isn't that you always want to have sex. I think a lot of women who are promiscuous at some point, I think a lot of times they just want to be touched. So they just go through the entire process of having sex, just trying to, you know, fulfill the void of just needed somebody to touch them. And I think men are like that too. I think when men are hurting, like a lot of men get extremely promiscuous when they just broke up with a female or she hurt him or she cheated on him or something like that. And suddenly they turn into these men who want to have casual sex and start collecting a whole bunch of women, which is terrible, by the way. That is a terrible way to deal with your emotions, but that's a whole nother video. That is a whole nother video. But you know, I think that a lot of times that they mask what they're feeling and they use those sexual like experiences with other women as a way to take their mind off of the pain that they're feeling with the last woman that they was with. Another con is loneliness and social isolation. Celibacy may lead to feelings of loneliness and social isolation, particularly in an individual's peers are sexually active. When an individual's peers are sexually active. So if you have a whole bunch of friends and they're all in a relationship or they're all casually sleeping around, they're part of the hookup culture and no one is celibate with you, sometimes it can be very difficult for you to stand alone and be isolated. I have been isolated. Like I isolate myself from any type of social atmosphere. So that means I don't go to the club. I don't go definitely ain't taking my ass to no strip club or no swingers club. Cause I was always in the strip club and the swingers club because I used to be a model. A lot of people don't know that. I used to be a model. So they used to book me for like these events and I would come and host them. And a lot of times they'd be at the club and they'd be at the strip club. So I done seen so much clapped ass and so much twerking to last me a lifetime. I'm trying to tell you, I don't even want to see it. You feel me? Because I've seen it so much. But now that I'm like older, I think it's still older people that go to the club because they do got older people clubs or whatever. But for me, I distance myself from that type of thing. That's why I distance myself from Atlanta so much, because Atlanta is just one of those party cities. I know y'all know what a party city is, where the whole city is just clubs on every corner or strip clubs on every corner. That's Atlanta. I don't know if any other cities are like that. With maybe Miami is like that, but here in the Bay, it's not like that. Like oh my God. In the Bay, just driving. I've been here 5 years. It is a handful of clubs in the Bay. Like, it's not in comparison to how many clubs are in Atlanta, and the Bay is bigger than Atlanta, and it's still less clubs here because people. I mean, because it's not that deep for people. People are doing so many other things outside of that. Like, a lot of times, people have block parties. I've seen people do a skating ring party out in the middle of the park. I mean, they be out. They don't really do clubs like that. So, yeah, the isolation can get bad for you if you used to be around a shit ton of people, and you can get a little lonely. But I always tell people, you can't be lonely when you love who you alone with. They call me a god. 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 Let's go. Keep the conversation going and join the Black Macho Discord now.